So here I am in a friend's garage. This machine, the S1, is way too big for my office, which is not a bad thing. I'm looking forward to putting it in the machine, but for this unboxing, we're going to borrow this space here. And you know what I like about this space? If it's messy, it's being used. Anyway, as with most of my reviews, I have not opened the box. It is sealed. Let's grab a knife and let's see what's inside this box, which hosts the Xtool S1 laser cutter. This is a little different from some of the other lasers that I review. Most of the other lasers come in a kit, so you've got to put them all together. This machine is already been assembled. And when you open it up here, I'll show you it is well packed. Open it up, got this piece of cardboard, and then we have this, which I'm assuming is the laser cutter. I'm trying to get a shot so you can see exactly what's happening in the box. We'll remove some of the packing here. Remove the packing. We have some straps. These straps look really interesting. I'm not too sure. I'd like to take this out of the box, but I want to show you guys what's going on. So let me see if I can undo some of these straps first. These are really nicely. I haven't seen a laser pack like this unless it was a really high-end laser. First strap. This is the second one. And we've got some foam, so let's get the foam out of the way. And it looks like the laser is just below it. So it's one. It's two. And you can see the laser is in a bag, plastic bag, but that's the S1. So you can see the size of it. It's a little bit smaller than the box, obviously, because it's packing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this out and let's see what else is in this box. This machine's a little heavier than I expected, so I'm trying to work out. I might put the box down and then bring it back up for you guys. So this is a heavy machine, let me tell you. It weighs a little bit of pounds. Let's open up this plastic and see what's underneath. I must say, it's kind of nice having a machine turn up that's ready to go. This reminds me a little bit of the Emblazer. The Emblazer 2 that I use quite often in my tutorials, in my office. This reminds me a lot about that. And I think that maybe Xtool is trying to go into that market of having safety as well as a complete machine that anyone can use. Okay, so this is the machine straight out of the wrapper. There's a lot of things that look here that's actually really impressive. I like the case. We haven't obviously pulled off all the tape here, but you can see that you've got an enclosure at the front. There are some toolboxes or some accessories in here. Around the back, it is very nicely done. You can see that there's an extractor fan. There's a few options for air assist as well as power, which this laser is classified, which is a class 1 laser product. It looks good. You know, sometimes you get housings for laser cutters and they look like they've been made in a garage like this. Nothing against the companies that supply them. I'm all for safety, and I love the fact that this sort of stuff is now coming onto the market, because as you've seen in the last 4 or 5 years, lots of people are rushing to the marketplace, and it seems to be iterations of the same thing. It's been a while. I know that there have been lasers in this configuration before, but it's nice to see Xtool take a step in this direction, because I believe other companies will then raise their game. So you can see here straight off the bat, they have this really interesting, nice lid that comes up. I'm not sure what it's made out of, because it doesn't have any kind of information on the lid as what it's made from. Let's go and take a look at what else is in these boxes. So we have a Xtool, I think that might be the instructions. We have another Xtool box. These two we're going to get into very, very quickly. I'm going to put those aside, put them on that level. What we have, an extraction hose. So I assume that this is going to hook onto the back of the machine and allow me to go to an extractor. I have another box here. I'm going to open this one up. Let's see what this is. In fact, I'm going to grab the other things that are in here and then we can go through it. Actually, the whole thing comes out. That's kind of nice. So let's close that up, go around the back, and let's take a look. So in here, again, I like these machines. They really, when they pack these up, they use all the space that they can. So in here, we have something that looks, well, something was supposed to be in there. There's nothing in there, but there is this Xtool box as well. And that is it for what's been packed in the machine. So let's go through some of these. I'm gonna grab the other ones and let's see what this is. So the first one, in this green box with the picture of the laser on it, we have documentation. One of the favorite things that I talk about in a lot of my reviews. I sometimes criticize companies for not giving enough documentation in here. I haven't seen this before, but this is looks like a very thick manual. We're gonna go and use this moving forward to setting this up. I might actually take a moment to just flick through it off camera, but you can see lots of information. And just from first look, I'm not sure what's covering here, but each chapter has multiple languages. So when you see something like this and it's nice and thick, that the bulk of the manual is going to cover all different things. The first thing in English it says is safety first, which I will take my hat off to Xtool. I think that it's really important, especially with new users. But it also talks about the list of items, meeting your Xtool, using your Xtool One, using it with Air Assist, using it with a riser base, honeycomb panels, so all the accessories that go through with it. Also talks about after sales service, which I think is really important for that new laser user as well. So we will go through this and I will follow this to the letter as we set this up. There's also a book here called Xtool, Selected with Creativity. And just flicking through this, it also just shows you all the different projects you can use and create with this. And again, it's really nice to give an example of what people can create with their laser. And Xtool box. Thought it was going to be more manuals. We have a whole bunch of material. And, well, this is actually kind of interesting. So this is, I guess, a material sample kit that they've sent out. Let's take a look at what's in here. So we have a whole bunch of different things in here. This looks like, yeah, and it is. It's a piece of slate. So a little piece of slate in here. It's kind of neat because it's got little stoppers on it, so you can put it down without scratching a surface. So you can engrave on there as a test. We'll probably use that. In here, we have some acrylic. These almost look like badges with holes in them. I'll show you a close-up of that in a little bit. So you've got some clear acrylic, which is very interesting given that diode lasers traditionally pass through. It'll be interesting to see how we can use that. We have some dog tags. We have 2 or 3 dog tags that you can engrave on. So again, one of the materials they talk about with this laser is engraving on metal. So got an example of that. Doesn't tell me what this is, but it looks to me a little bit like a plastic sheet of some sort of material. I'm going to see whether there's any documentation about that. But there's a green piece and a brown piece. Maybe it's leather. It's not pleather. I hope not. I hope it's not PVC. And I don't think Xtool would do that. But if you do see material like this and you don't know what it is a good idea to test it. And if you're interested, you can check out this video right here that talks about how to test for PVC, because PVC, when it goes through a laser, turns into chlorine gas. It's a bad thing. And we've got some wood material as well, a whole bunch of different pieces. I'm not sure what kind of wood this is, but again, be really nice if Xtool would actually mention or document what this material is on the bags, so you know the settings you're going to use. And also, you know, before you're going to put it in, what it is safety. And this looks like a straight black piece of acrylic, which I was going to use to test. I also have acrylic here in the workshop that I brought for the testing. So we will go and use some of this material. But again, really nice, especially for the new user, the new laser person who's just jumping into this hobby, to have these materials handy to start exploring and seeing what results you can get. Now, I'm assuming here, I may be wrong. I haven't gone to the Xtool website, at least at the time of this recording. This material might be available through Xtool. So I don't know if they supply material like that or not. But again, it's really nice to see this kind of sampler material pack which again is something that I've experienced with some other lasers, especially the Emblazer 2 from Darkly Labs comes with a material pack that you can start exploring your laser with. So let me put this back in and let's move on to these boxes right here. We've got our instructions, we've got a sampler box. Let's take a look at what's in here. I have no idea. It's a long box. I need a knife. This is what they call a triangular prism. And it says on here, the triangular prism parts are designed to improve laser cutting performance. You can place them under the material to be cut as a base plate so that your air can circulate around them. So basically this is a material razor. I'm interested in this because a lot of review machines like this that have been sent out, they're usually 40 watt and they usually come with a few other things. For some reason, I was sent a 20 watt Xtool S1, not complaining at all, but I maybe wrongly assumed that the normal machine would come with a honeycomb razor, which means that you see them with a lot of diode lasers, they raise your material. I'm assuming from what I saw in here, and if you open it up, there is no razor inside the machine, that this triangular prism is actually what you use to raise your material away from the bed so you can get airflow, so there's no hot spots. That's okay. I'm happy to review this machine with what they sent me, but I know that there's a lot of reviews out there right now that are talking about more power and getting great results out of what they've been sent. Seems that it's not a standard thing to get a honeycomb razor. That's okay. We learn as we go along. So these are the triangular prisms, as they call, and they're kind of really interesting. What these are, I should have opened it in front of the camera. There's a whole bunch of them in here. These things are just triangular pieces of aluminium tubing. And you can see that when you put them together and place material on top of it, you actually get that airspace, and as well as the collection of energy as you're cutting through the material doesn't collect and cause hot spots. I've seen different types of material used to support material. I've seen and used silicon mats. I've seen the honeycomb bases. This is obviously the basic machine. You get these triangular pieces. How many are in here? That's interesting. Let's see. So we've got 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you got 10 of these things. I'm looking forward to seeing how they work in the machine. I'm sure they work fine. Let's find out what's in the last box. This one doesn't need to be cut open, or maybe it does. Let me see. No, it's a side opening box. And what we have here is a toolkit, which I'm starting to love the fact that companies are starting to put little toolkits in with their machines. So this is Peg Shen. I have no idea what it is. I'm thinking that this might be a grease or lubricant for the rails. But in here is really nice Xtool kit. And you can see in here, you get a screwdriver, you get a whole bunch of spare screws, which is really handy. A lens. Is it lens housing or lens? I'm not too sure. We'll show you that a little bit closer up. You also have another second housing. So we also have 2 USB dongles. And these USB dongles, and in this little bag, this is a little probe and for this machine. One of the things that I really like about this machine is they've taken some technology that's been used in the 3D printing world, and they're using it to probe the surface of the material you're using in the laser. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in the next video when we dive deeper into the software that comes with this machine and all the different options. But right now, this is the unboxing and we are complete. The only thing that I haven't found is the power supply, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if the power supply is in here. I really do hope it is. Now, did I say to you that we were done with the unboxing? Silly me, because I opened this up and realized there are 2 more foam containers in here, including from what looks like the power supply. So let's get them out. I did say to you, I love the fact that they use all the space in this machine, right? When they pack them up, and there's a second one here. So let's put that up here and let's go through them. I'm gonna put this one down first. I'm gonna put this one, actually, I'm gonna go through this one first. So this one looks to me like, ta-da, the power supply. Didn't think they left it out. It's only happened to me once in a review. So we have a power supply that fits into the back of the machine. I'm just gonna place that here. and there's nothing else in there. And on the other one, on the last one, we're going to take the top off, and we have a power cord, a USB cord as well, and probably the most important thing when you buy a laser. I actually thought that it might be installed already, but we have here the laser unit itself. This is obviously the 20 watt. This is the base model. I'm assuming it's a base model because you can get a 2 watt infrared laser for this machine, a 20 watt and a 40 watt. So this one's the 20 watt. I'm looking forward to installing this. You can see on the side here, there is a output for air. It looks pretty solid. And this, again, this is the first time I've seen this. You've obviously got the branding at the side. You've got a whole lot of technology in here. You've got most of this is a heat sink, so it's driving off a lot of the heat that's created by generating enough power through the diodes. You also have, and from what I understand, this thing here is like a laser pointer. It's a red laser that allows you to line up your jobs. Again, something that I'm really, really interested in seeing how this machine works in this way. We're gonna put this in, and then we're gonna fire it up and see what this machine can do. We're gonna do a job straight out of Lightburn because we use Lightburn here on the channel. And then on our next video, we're gonna dive into the software that is recommended for this machine because it allows you to use a lot of the extra features in this laser. And that's actually something that's really interesting. I generally don't step outside of Lightburn. I'm a big aficionado of that software and the people who have designed it. But in this case, I'm going to go and take a look at the Xtool Creative Package, I believe it's called, which is designed to run natively on this laser. One last thing before we move on. I'm so eager to get this machine up and running. I keep forgetting that there are extra things I need to talk about. Xtool was kind enough to send me an Air Assist set. So this is a separate purchase. This is an accessory. This is basically Air Assist. So let's open it up. Let's take a look at what it does. There is that output that I showed you a little bit before that allows you to plug the Air Assist straight in. And it's interesting that this isn't incorporated into the machine as a standard or in the machine itself. I see a lot of diode lasers bringing things like Air Assist in as a separate module. Maybe they'll include it, but usually there's a unit that you've got to manually turn on, turn off. I believe this one's automatic, it's in its sensors and will kick itself on and off. But again, this is a separate purchase. So if you want the machine and you want Air Assist, you need to have that in mind when you're purchasing. So here's the Air Assist. Again, I love the fact that you have a written manual. If you're starting for the very first time, you don't know what this machine can do or how a laser set up, it's great to have this. I will go through it and I will show you what it, just flicking through, it looks pretty simple. You have an Air Assist line. In here, you have a snazzy looking Air Assist unit, but I'm not too sure whether or not, as I said, it controls. From what I understand, it does turn itself on and off based on the software. That's that Xtool software that I was talking about before. You also have a whole bunch of filters. Interesting. And the unit itself. I'm just going to flip this up because I don't want to pull the button off it. Excellent. The unit is basically an air filter or air, no, it's not a filter, it's more like an air compressor. It looks great. It looks just like this machine. Nice branding. Now, it does have off 1, 2, 3 max, but it does have right here a auto feature. So I was correct in understanding. Also, you can see that there is a USB-C port at the back here that allows you to probably tie it into the machine so it could talk to each other. So that's great. One of the things it also has, and this is where I don't want to get it wrong, is it has a power outlet, but I'm not sure whether the power comes through USB-C or not. So I'm not too sure about that, but we will discover that as we go along. Let me just quickly look at the manual. Again, like all my reviews, I try to come into them as first look. I don't go take my stuff off and prepare it all, make it all look good. I want to create the same experience that you're going to have when you open up for the very first time. So just looking in here, it does have a list of everything that is included with the Air Assist. In this case, there is no power supply. So I'm good with that. So we've got the tube, we've got the user manual, which is in my hand. We have the air pump. We have the USB-C cable. And we have filters. So these are filters that go in there. Fantastic. All right. That, my friends, is the unboxing of the S1 from Xtool, including their Air Assist unit. Now that everything is unpacked, we have a few extra steps to get this machine operational. Let me show you what's involved. Inside the machine, there are 2 locking nuts. You can find these pieces that need to be removed by the sticker on either side of the machine. To do that, we're going to take our Xtool kit, grab our screwdriver, and remove these pieces. This is where the second stopper is, on the opposite side. Now that we have the gantry free, we can pull it closer. And what we're going to do is we're going to install the 20-watt laser into the bracket here. So the laser unit has a number of really interesting features. It has this little kind of locator pin that fits into a notch just here. And when you place it in here, I'm just going to do this right now just to show you what it looks like complete. This is actually spring-loaded. So there is obviously a gantry that moves up and down. There's a few screws we need to lock it into place. We also need to hook it up. So I'm going to bring you in closer. Just take it back off. And I'm going to show you step by step how to do that. So the very first thing we need to do with the 20-watt unit is actually plug it in. And there is a port, a pin port and an air port. So the very first thing we need to do is align the pins, place it in. Now, there's a little clip at the top. The only place it can go is on that top area. So, I'm trying to do this to the camera. There's not a lot of slack here. But we place it in that way. And then take your air tube and place it over for your air intake. As I said before, that pin then goes in, and that aligns it. Now, at the top here are 2 screws, which you'll take out of your toolkit, and that will bolt into the body here and keep that laser unit aligned. In the toolkit, we were given a probe. I thought this was a spare probe. This is actually the probe that goes onto the side of the laser. So on the side of the 20-watt laser, we're going to clip this piece in. It's magnetic. And just wiggle it around. You'll feel once it's seated. So if it's moving around, it's not going to work. But that's now seated. It's magnetically attached to it. And that is the 20-watt laser unit installed. If you want to use the air duct and place it onto the machine so that you can take all the exhaust and extract it or put it through a filter, all you need to do is remove the screws. Remove the vent, take your hose and duct and place it in, and just replace the screws. To run power to the machine, you take your power supply and just plug it straight in. If you also have an air assist unit here, this is where you will plug in your air tube. And it clips straight in. That will run to the air assist. And at the same time, you will want to plug in the USB cable, and you will do that right beside it. Last thing we need to do is take the USB dongle that we found in the toolkit. This is your key to get the laser to work. This piece needs to fit just underneath the power socket. And now this laser is ready to operate. And that's how you set up your Xtool S1. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking right now, geez, Gil, you did all that work and you didn't show the laser working. Well, when we were putting this video together, we realized there were so many interesting things about running this laser and different options within the software that instead of cobbling it at the end of this video and shortchanging you, we decided we were going to do a follow-up video, which will be out next week, where we not only show the laser working, but also how to use it within Lightburn and Xtool's generic software. I'd also like to thank Xtool for allowing me to review this machine. It definitely has my attention, and I think, as you can see, we are looking at a whole new range of laser cutters becoming available for the hobbyist. Now, I don't want you to miss out on the follow-up video, so please hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think about this new laser that's just hit the market. Once that video goes live, I will also link below with a link to the follow-up part of this video. If you're interested in the Xtool S1, there are links below as well to information and where you may purchase one if that's what you want to explore. So I'm off to go play with the S1, start cutting some things, and also explore the software. But while I'm doing that, why don't you go and check out these videos right here and learn a little bit more about lasers, software, and go and make something amazing. We'll see you real soon.